Everyone's worried about immigration.
Let's take our country back again.
People could get houses, now you cannot get a house.
They're making palaces compared to what we're living in.
There's a lot of people ride the system.
We want our country back.
Close the borders, is that what you would do?
Completely.
It's never been so easy to get people to talk about immigration. Not just where there are lots of immigrants, but where there are hardly any too. And it isn't just white British people, but black and Asian voices as well. So what's driven immigration up the agenda? And has it left Britain tipping towards Brexit?
We're coming to see you today with Ukip's Stephen Wolfe.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, but
My voice.
should I stay or should I go? Does it come down one way or the other? Why am I talking into this? I don't know.
How does the party's mixed-race migration spokesman frame this election fight?
There's almost a new class war. This referendum is making clear to me when I'm campaigning that it's between the rich and the poor.
On the motorways, you'll get lorry drivers beeping their horns and going, UKIP, come on. You get a lot of support and a lot of negative. Well, negative.
Gotta get one.
In places like Nantwich and Lee, UKIP is tapping into a yearning for Britishness.
Absolutely great.
Well, sort of.
Why are you voting out?
Because I want the country back.
I'm just fighting for my little girl to get a place, which, yeah, to primary school,
What makes you feel that it's all about immigration?
because they get all the benefits. 80, maybe 90%.
That is the percentage of immigrants that Chantel thinks are in this area. In fact, the opposite is true. But immigration statistics won't give her a school place.
Would I like to close the borders? I like to have them regulated a hell of a lot because all the rape's gone up, the children, the deaths, the crime rate, it's all gone up.
I actually feel quite depressed about what I've just heard. I am the child of immigrants, people who came here in the 70s, in the 80s. We were the packies, we were the other, we were the ones that were taking all the school places, that were taking up the rooms in the houses. You know, we were the ones that were causing the problem. And now, you know, we just heard it there, it's the Eastern Europeans, and it's exactly the same language about a different group. And it just shows you how angry and how insecure people are feeling.
Final stop for UKIP, an iconic seaside town.
Do you reckon Blackpool's going to vote out?
I think by the reaction that you see here again follows what you saw in Lee and Nantwich, and I think Blackpool will once again do it.
David Cameron's response to this growing sentiment was a manifesto promise to cut net immigration to the tens of thousands. How's he doing with that? Not great. In 2015, net migration was 333,000. In 20 years, the number of European migrants has tripled, from 0.9 to 3.3 million.
So we tried to find definitive stats on the impact of immigration on schools, on the NHS, on housing, and the truth is it's actually quite hard to pin down. So we've come here to Peterborough because there has been a massive growth in the number of Eastern Europeans in this area.
Driving around on quad bike, people not necessarily working and stuff, people do see that as something that's come into the area following immigration.
Emily Fisher, a Tory and former youth MP, has taken us to Millfield to show how this part of Peterborough has changed. Is this what makes a 19-year-old want to campaign to leave the EU?
We just can't cope at the rate it is. 1 in 10 households speak no English. And the effect that has on doctor surgeries and schools just is a huge pressure that at the moment, with the current level of spending, we can't cope with.
Can't we? At a local supermarket, a Turkish shop worker has a different outlook.
If you go to Poland, if you go to hospital, they will look after you.
Will they provide translators?
I think they will.
It's a fair point, isn't it, that British people are living in other countries and you get the same healthcare as there is in that country.
The public services still, particularly in Peterborough, just can't cope.
So we're inside Millfield Health Practice now and we're going to talk to a doctor.
Hi, Anushka. Nice to meet you.
How's it going? This is an area that's changed a lot I mean, has it affected your practice?
Appointments can take longer. It's sometimes due to language issues. If you're using a translator, you lose a certain amount of that understanding, which can make things more difficult. I think there's huge advantages to having people coming in. That doesn't mean it doesn't have an impact.
In this referendum, Emily is on the same side as people like John Okonkowski, once a Labour-supporting trade unionist, now a UKIP councillor.
We just can't keep bringing all these people in. I'm not racist. You know, my parents are Polish.
You definitely know what to do with race because you've got non-white people on here. Non-white people?
Another 20, 30 years, there won't be any white, they will all be coloured.
So how can you say that? That sounds racist.
No, it's not. They always have a go at the white man because if he says something wrong, he's racist. But it doesn't happen with any other.
Who's calling you racist?
Anybody else. It doesn't happen with anybody else, just the whites.
But who's calling you racist?
Nobody.
Well, there you go.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm just telling you, that's all. You're lovely, you are.
Oh, thanks.
Out campaigners like Emily and John say hospital waiting rooms are at breaking point. But adverts like this from Vote Leave don't mention the tens of thousands of EU immigrants working in the NHS.
I think it's more likely to be the other way around.
Peter Dimitrov, a leading doctor in Oxford, is one of them.
I cannot see the system running without the help of colleagues from different parts of the world. Have a walk in 3 in the morning and see who is cleaning the hospitals and who is looking after the patients.
What would you tell people about what it's like to be from Bulgaria?
Recently, after a very long operation, and opened my email to find out that my friend actually sent me this.
Bugger the bankers, do you want a Bulgarian butcher to operate on you?
I basically sent him something which is completely different.
Your awards.
Yeah,
Excellence category.
But it isn't doctors most people are worried about. It is workers in semi-skilled industries where there is evidence that immigration does cause a small drop in wages. But Dean, who runs a professional cleaning company and works 6 days a week, wants to stress that most Eastern Europeans are not here for benefits.
When you tell them that you're from Bulgaria, it's just changing the face. Some of the people don't like Bulgarians. It just makes you to say that you're not from Bulgaria, no? But I'm proud of that I'm Bulgaria because I'm a very hard-working guy. And
why do you think some people are thinking of voting out in the EU referendum?
They just want to go out from the EU, so they will just shut the borders and nobody else will going to come here. But they really need immigrants because the immigrants are doing the difficult job.
So when we started this, we went around the country. I really thought people would be a bit nervous about expressing their views about immigration. In fact, we found the absolute opposite. Everywhere we went, people were willing to talk about this. A lot of people seem to be kind of harking back to a bygone era, this idea of Britain that they'd lost, pinning a lot of hope on the idea that if they vote out, something magical might suddenly change. But I suspect that whatever way Britain votes on June the 23rd, there's going to be a question here that will not be settled.
So we're here. There's no shade. You can see all the people trying to find their families.